Hey, what's up guys? Harley here from Cycling Harley. Today we're changing cassettes. Well, today I'm going to show you how to change a cassette off your rear wheel and replace it with another cassette, but this time from an 11 speed to a 10 speed. So if you've got, majority of people are running 11s at the moment, but if you've got an old group set that's 10 speed, or you've got already got a 10 speed bike, but you've bought an 11 speed set of wheels, you might want to take the 11 speed cassette off, replace it with a 10 so it fits into your setup. This is how you do it, the tools you'll need, and hope you enjoy it. So these are the tools you're going to need to replace your cassette. So I've got the brand new 10 speed SRAM red cassette here, which is going to go on my racing wheels. This is really important when shifting from an 11 speed to a 10 speed. You need this spacer. Now this spacer, it's the only one you need if you're going to put SRAM on. If you are going to put Shimano on, Shimano need this spacer for a 10 speed, plus the little, there's a little 1.8 millimeter one that comes with the Shimano cassette. You don't need it for SRAM, but you will need it for Shimano. Because we're installing SRAM today, this is all we'll need to go from an 11 speed cassette down to a 10. You'll need this one, which is your cassette lock ring tool, which undoes the lock ring on the cassette, which will be on here. And you need a chain tool, cassette tool, which gives you a bit of leverage so you can hold the cassette in place and then undo the lock ring on the cassette. You need an old rag to get the old grease off the freehub, and then just some grease. Okay, so we've got the existing cassette here, which we're going to take off. You'll see here there's a lock nut which goes around it with these little grooves in it. This is what you need your cassette lock ring tool for, which goes in there. It'll just fit into place into one of those grooves, doesn't matter where, anywhere will do. And then you've got the chain tool, which gives you some grip around here. So to get it right, you'll see with this particular SRAM one, it's got an arrow on which way to lock, so it's obviously the opposite way. That's how you loosen it. When you're taking off a cassette, you've got spaces in between them, which you can't see really from here, but if you take them off and you forget which ones the spaces go and all that sort of stuff, it makes it very difficult. So always try and take it off in this, or remember the order. What a lot of people do is just take them off in one piece like that and put a zip tie around it. Yeah, I obviously try and take it off in one piece like that and put it to the side. Okay, so here you can see all the old grease. Give it a good clean up. Okay, so the next step is you just want to put some grease. Now, because we're going from a 11 speed cassette to a 10 speed cassette on an 11 speed freehub, we need this spacer. It's a special spacer that goes in between the bottom of the freehub and the cassette, and you've got these three little grooves in the top. They face upwards, and then you've got these little grooves on the inside which can only fit on a certain way. And I'll show you why, because inside on the freehub there's actually a pattern of these grooves, so certain things can only go on at a certain angle. The cogs and grooves have to actually line up. So you'll see when we put the cassette on, it'll only go on at a certain way, and they all go on exactly the same way because they have the same indents on the cassette. So with this spacer, we have to find out which way it goes on. that way there. So that is the only way that it will go on. Now with the new cassette, like I said, this is a brand new SRAM red 10 speed. We've got the lock nut and the last cog. The rest of them go that way. This will go on the top like that with the locking nut on top of it. Now I'm not sure whether you can see this, but on the inside are all the different grooves which correlate with the male grooves on the freehub. Now one of these little grooves here is really small. It's a really thin one. I always use that as the reference point because it's the only, it's like one of a kind on there. That's it there. And what you do is you just find the small little groove on the actual cassette, and that one goes on first. So we've got spacer first, then the biggest cogs, and then we slowly move up. Now because I've done it and kept them all together, you can see that there's a spacer next. So I know the spacer goes on there like that. Then we've got the next size. Now you'll notice it's the same with Shimano and SRAM Red, that the numbers on here tell you exactly what it is. And it'll be Shimano's coding and then also SRAM's coding. Either way, these have to go up. So you can technically put these on upside down because the cogs will still line up, but if you put them, they won't shift properly because the teeth are the wrong way. So you want to make sure that all the numbers are up. You'll notice on here, the numbers are up. You can see with these three because the biggest one's obviously the one that goes on first, so you sort of know, but as you get down the line, these come as singles, so you've got to make sure you have the numbers up first. Again, just finding the smallest cog, which is there. When I say the cog, it should be, you know, the smallest groove. Line it up with the smallest groove on here, which is there, and away you go. Next one, spacer. Smallest groove. These two, the last three, don't have spacers separate. They're actually almost inbuilt, well, they are inbuilt into the actual cog itself. So again, making sure the numbers are up, and then just trying to find the smallest little space there. The last one, which is there, and then the lock nut, which I'll show you how to do up. So with this now, we're putting in the cassette lock nut tool. Put it in, it's got the arrow on it, this one, but obviously it's clockwise to tighten it and anti-clockwise to loosen it. And we'll just give that a good tighten. If these were on incorrectly, or you haven't lined them up, they just won't go on properly. So don't worry, you can't accidentally put them on the wrong way or what have you, but the simplest way to save your time is just look for that little notch there in the cog, line it up with the littlest notch on the freehub, so we put it in, and then there's the lock nut. Well, I hope you got something out of that video. Guys, remember, I'm not a mechanic, I'm just a tinkerer, backyard mechanic if you like. I'm just mucking around with my own bikes and just trying to show people the same way I learnt, just from watching videos and hearing about it from other people. So hope you got something out of it. If you do like these videos, like and subscribe, send it to a mate who might need it if you know of anyone. Otherwise, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.